You are listening to the Wi-Fi Ninjas podcast, where we talk about wireless technology. Here are your hosts, Mac Daring and Matt Starling.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Wi-Fi Ninjas podcast. Matt and Mac here, but we are also joined with our friend from Belgium, Mr. Jonas Dekkers. How are you, Jonas?
I'm fine, thanks. Are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How about you, Mac?
I've never been better, as always. Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to have you on, Jonas. Thank you very much for donating your time. So yesterday, I had a pleasure to see a demo of your product that we are going to talk about today. So if you could please introduce your product, what it is, how is it called, where we can find it, and what problems it tries to solve. That would be absolutely amazing. Some history of how you came up with the idea. I appreciate it's a lot of questions in one massive question, but let's try to tackle them one by one.
Okay, that's great. So our solution calls Wiflex. We try to create an Wi-Fi onboarder tool. So we can onboard visitors, employees, easy and safe online. You don't need any hardware. You just need our cloud platform and an access points that's compatible with our solution. We mostly use the unique PSKs feature, like PPSK from ROI or DPSK from Ruckus or Mist, and some other vendors also have that solution. And we also use a lot of QR codes, so you can very easily onboard yourself by just scanning in the QR code. We are just a startup, so it was just a hobby for me, so to play around with the APIs, and now we have a full-blown cloud platform that is multi-tenant, so you can create your own customers, you can manage them, all from one portal. So I think we did a good job.
Congratulations on making your dream come true. And what it is really from my perspective, from our perspective, the community perspective is, so guys, how much do you like working with splashpages? How easy do you think it is to configure a PKI, have all the AD up and running and the radio server up and running and GPOs up and running, or complicated MDM platforms that are pushing down the policies to your Wi-Fi devices, telling them what SSID to connect to, installing certificate and using certificates on both sides, maintaining the certificates, making it secure that way. Then it creates how much do you like working with, roaming optimizations in difficult environments, like, .1x based authentication. It's always a challenge, especially in a mixed environment where some clients, they do not support 802.11r or K or V or any of them. So what Wiflex is trying to solve is to say goodbye to these splash pages, especially with Wi-Fi macro randomization creating problems now, and making it secure and easy to onboard for everyone, not only guests and visitors, but even for enterprise clients. I guess it will be quite a nice solution to have. So you don't require any box on site. You don't require radio server. You don't require anything. You can have just synchronization between the AD in the cloud or the G Suite in the cloud for your users in a corporate, and then you can use that with Wiflex to onboard every single device with their unique long PSK that is very difficult or pretty much impossible to crack even offline. All the roaming issues, they go away. Onboarding issues, they go away. No splash pages, no bollocks. It's just nice and fast. So I think that's how I see it. Matt, do you have anything to add when it comes to what problems we are trying to solve here?
No, I think you covered it pretty well. I had the demo from Jonas a little while ago, and I set it up with my Mist environment at home and tested it out, and it worked very, very nicely. So created based like a guest portal, as if you would have maybe sat in like a reception area where you would have an iPad and just want people to check in themselves. So it probably took me about 10-15 minutes to get it all set up and working. So not only did it work very well, it was also extremely simple and sleek to set up, which is exactly what I like, and it worked first time. And then I think I posted the video on Twitter a little while ago, and it got quite a lot of interactions. I think a lot of people were quite impressed and wanted to find out more about it.
Yeah, so we'll be creating, I think, a series of short videos showcasing the functionality, like, series of, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8, 2, 3 or 5 minutes videos showing what's possible with Wiflex. And also yesterday I've seen a stamp of approval from Peter McKenzie on Twitter, which is a, big shout out from a guy like him as well, when he likes it.
Yeah, I remember he replied to my video saying it was on his, I think it was on his list to find out a bit more about Wiflex, and he was very interested in the solution. So maybe he's finally got around to having a look at it a little bit more now.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Okay, so let's try and dig a little bit deeper. So let's start with, what do you need to get it working, and what vendors do you guys support for unique PSK? There are different names: UPSK, MPSK, PPSK, whatever the vendor you're using. DPSK, yeah. So what vendors do you support?
At the moment, we support Mist, Airlife or Extreme, so Extreme Cloud IQ, Ruckus Smart Zone, Cambium Networks, Zyxel, and Cisco Meraki. The only limitation of Cisco Meraki is that you only have 50 unique PSKs per SSID. So that's something you need to consider. The only thing you need is a license for our platform, and you need an access point. So that's the only thing. And we will add more other vendors in the future, but we need a vendor that has APIs, that has the unique PSK feature. So that are the things we need. Also, it's important that we can create unique PSKs without MAC binding. For example, the IPSK from Cisco with ICE is not possible because you need to have a MAC address. So
yeah, so even like theoretically, would it be possible to onboard Cisco when you talk, API with ICE instead of wireless LAN controller Wi-Fi system?
I don't think so. I think you always need a MAC address, and we don't have the MAC address at the moment that we create the unique PSK. And also, it's not a good idea with the MAC randomization that's coming in all the Androids and iPhones, and so we don't use any MAC address at the moment.
Okay, that makes sense. So you do support 6 vendors, I think. It was Mist, Cambium, Aerohive, which is Extreme Cloud IQ, Meraki, Ruckus, and did you mention like a Zyxel, I think?
Zyxel, yes, yeah. Indeed.
So that's 6.
With Nebula, with this cloud platform. So.
Okay, so that's quite a lot. No servers on site, 6 vendors supported. Nice. So let's talk about the product itself. Do you guys think is it time to start looking at the screen sharing session to see the products, how it looks like?
That's good for me.
And guys, if you're listening only, Jonas will still be describing what he is talking through on his screen. So stay tuned.
So this is our product. So I will also describe it. So it's just a website, a web portal where you can log in. It's like I already said, it's multi-tenant, so you can just select a customer of you and click switch, and you're on the portal of your customer, and you can manage and change all the settings. Maybe I will start with our first solution. That's the one-click. So that's the most easy solution we have. It's I will show it like this.
I think so. It's one-click is what I was referring to earlier, where it generates a code. You basically come in and you imagine that there's a tablet on the reception desk, and you just click a button and it'll generate you a code, and then you use that as your pre-shared key. I'm pretty sure that's what I implemented in my home setup.
Yes, indeed. So it's indeed an application that's running on iPad. It's just a button you can click on, and we generate a unique PSK and a QR code. So we can just scan in the QR code, and you are safe onboarded on the Wi-Fi. And
the splash page that we're seeing now is completely configurable. So I was able to upload our Wi-Fi Ninjas logo to the portal, and straight away it was available on the splash page.
Yeah, and it's not really a splash page, right? It's not something that you are redirected to. This is just this sits on the tablet, so you have no redirections.
Page, then however you want to.
Yeah. Yes, indeed, it's fully customizable. So you can change the background color. You can change the colors of the button. You can change the logo. You can change the default language. You can also disable languages. You can also add languages for a proof of concept in Hong Kong. We also added Chinese. So that's all
I bet that was a
possible.
fun challenge for you guys.
Yes, indeed, it was a challenge to save them in the database and all that kind of stuff with strange characters. So that was the most difficult part.
Did you have to get someone that could speak Chinese in to help with this?
We had contact with a system engineer of Mist, and he helped us a bit.
Oh.
And also the partner of the proof of concept was helping us with the translation.
Amazing.
So. No. So, and if you click on the button in the back end, we launched an API call to create a unique PSK. And now you can just scan in the QR code and you're ready to go. So you're logged in safely. You can define how much characters the Wi-Fi password must be. We can also enable AirPrint, so you can also print out the Wi-Fi password and the SSID for onboarding your laptop or something. So this is the most simple solution we have on the tablet. I will show you within a few minutes our visitor registration solution. There we ask for the details, contact details of the person who's visiting the company, and they can also choose who they are visiting, and they get an email and SMS that this visitor arrived, and etc. But I will show it later.
Okay, so let's recap what we have here. We have a tablet sitting somewhere in the meeting room or at the reception. In a kiosk that you can offer as well, I think, like a standalone kiosk where you can put an iPad into. And in the iPad screen, there is a big button in the middle of a screen that says generate Wi-Fi code. When you click it, it will use the API to talk back to the vendor of your choice that is supported out of vendors list, 6 vendors supported currently. And it will give you 2 pieces of information on the screen. One will be QR code that you can scan with your phone to automatically connect to the Wi-Fi network using the personal PSK. And the other piece will be a Wi-Fi network SSID name, and the PSK will also be displayed if you want to connect a different device than a phone with a camera if you cannot scan the QR code. So that's it, as simple as that, single click.
Yes, indeed, and it's much safer than one Wi-Fi password for everyone. So if a hacker has that password, he can unencrypt all the data, and so it's a safer way of.
It's absolutely smashing, because when you think about it, like people, they were not using PSKs before for like more secure connections, because awfully long PSK will be very difficult to type in, so no one can be bothered with typing in 20 characters PSK with special characters and everything else. If you share one PSK, then you leave the company, you can share the PSK with anyone. You can decrypt the traffic when you capture it wirelessly, having a PSK. So it adds encryption, but you can decrypt it easily when you know the key. But here everyone is using their own key, and even knowing that PSK is crackable offline, so you can take the capture home and you can have your 20 GPUs running in the background trying to brute force the password. If it's not a dictionary password, and if it's long enough, then it's pretty much impossible to crack it anyway. So it's not only easy, but it's also considered very secure.
Yeah, and what's the other solution that people usually go for? It's either going to be open with just a splash page, and so offering no encryption, or like you said, like a pre-shared key that gets generated probably once and then passed out to everyone, all of the guests. Then everyone has good intentions to update the pre-shared key once a month or once a quarter, but it gets slipped and people forget and it doesn't get done. So that pre-shared key that was put in 2 years ago is still the same one. And like Max said, anyone that has that can just easily crack it and then see your unencrypted traffic.
Indeed, and we can also create it time-based. For example, you can configure that the Wi-Fi password is automatically deleted after 1 day, after a week, or something. So that's you can all configure that in the back end of our solution.
That's really nice.
Okay, so to get this working, let's say that I have my Mist network running in the background. I have my access points up and running, SSID is configured, or I don't have SSIDs configured. What do I have to configure and how to get the one-click working step by step? I have APs registered and nothing else. They have access to the internet. What do I do?
Okay, I don't going to click open it because my a part of my access token is under there. But if you click on Wi-Fi integration, you can select Mist. Then you need to enter your site ID, your access token, and then you're ready to go. Then you to customize it, you can just upload a logo. And change the colors, and everything is changed. For example, you can also create different templates. For example, if you have different venues, also in different countries, you can say, okay, that template is the default language Dutch, and the other is default language English. So you can create different templates also. And here you can see a much better layout than the previous one.
This one looks sexy. I like this.
Yeah, never seen better landing page in my life.
So it's with the Wi-Fi Ninja logo, and you can also see that the background image is changed. The colors are the same, but also the colors of the button you can change. So it's fully customizable.
Okay, so where do I create the SSID and make it personal PSK supported SSID? Do I create it in a Mist dashboard, or do I just onboard Mist with the site ID and a token and the URL? And then Wiflex will do all the SSID configuration for me?
No, for the moment not. So for the moment you still need to go once to Mist, create an SSID. As authentication, you must select a multiple PSK function, and then you are ready to go. And then you need to fill in the same SSID name in our portal, and that's it.
Okay, nice and simple.
Yes, indeed.
So let's take a look at what is next. So I think we've nailed one click. What is next on your list?
The visitor registration solution, maybe. So that's our second solution that's running on a tablet. So that's looks like this. So it's more advanced. So you have a check-in button, a check-out button, and a button for the returning visitors. So this solution is for it at the reception. So if a visitor comes in the building, at a lot of companies, you still need to fill in your name, your license number on a paper. But that's not GDPR compliant because you can see all the personal data of the visitors that came in before you. With our solution, it's all on a tablet. Also fully customizable, so you can change the colors, the logo, all the things you need, also the default language. And if you click on check-in, the visitor needs to fill in the contact details. You can define which details they need to fill in, which one are mandatory, which one are optional. You can change the order, all that kind of stuff. If you ask for the email address and the SMS and a mobile number, we can also automatically send a unique PSK to the visitor by SMS or by email. And we can also print it out. So I will fill in. So, and if you type 3 characters, automatically the employees will pop up that match the 3 characters. This data we can get out of Google G Suite, out of Azure, out of Office 365, or you can put it manually in or load a CSV file.
I was about to ask.
People would be familiar with the term of a sponsored registration is kind of what this one is. So it's going to basically, will this now send a notification to yourself or whoever you put in here?
So this person will receive an SMS and an email that his visitor arrived. So he know he need to go to the reception to go with.
Yeah. So in Cisco world, I'm not sure how it might be called in some other other worlds, but they usually refer to this as sponsored guest access. So when you go through the registration, you put in the person's details that you're here to contact. They will then get a notification, and they have to approve sometimes, or you can just have it as a notification, but then they approve your visit and then get the details.
At the moment, we don't ask for approval, but we have asked, a few other also ask for that feature. So it's on a roadmap.
So, so this is just
just notification.
Yeah. So this is just self-onboarding sponsored access. That's what it's called in the Cisco world.
Indeed, and you also have an overview of all the guests in your buildings. For example, if there's fire and you need to evacuate your buildings, you have an overview of all your visitors in your buildings, and so that's also very nice. We also can print out a visitor badge for that visitor, so that's also possible.
So the visitor puts in their details and their host details, and you can configure via AirPrint the badge to be printed out automatically, so the visitor can slide it into a kind of a badge holder whenever they carry it. It can be handed over from the receptionist, or the visitor can collect it themselves from the printer straight away from the kiosk.
Yes, indeed. So we have different options. Indeed, we have an integration with AirPrint, so we can definitely print out a visitor badge. Yes, indeed. And you can also define if you also want to print out the Wi-Fi details. That can be on a separate badge, because you don't want to walk around with your unique Wi-Fi password. So we can print out two badges, one for your personal visitor badge and one with the Wi-Fi details that you can put in your your bag and use for your laptop. So that's possible. And as you already spoken, we don't need any radios or hardware on site, so it's fully cloud-based. And I think that's the amazing part of our solution.
Amazing indeed.
If we went for, say, Mist as our wireless deployment, and then you guys for this solution, all the customer would need to acquire physically would be the access points from the wireless perspective. No other boxes, no servers, and you'll be able to get full Wi-Fi access, AD integration, guest access. That's pretty amazing if you think about it. The fact that if you compared this to, I don't know, however many years ago, or other vendors and their solutions, the amount of boxes and servers and equipment you would need on site to be able to offer this solution now, I think this is amazing.
Yes, indeed, it's very easy to configure. For example, if you want to configure a NAC solution like ICE or ClearPass, I think you need at least 1 week to configure everything, to onboard your guests and all of that. And with our solution, I think you need less than half an hour, and you have fully configured with the layout of your company and everything. So I think it's a very good solution.
It seems like it's exactly the solution that was lacking on the market. So you're exploiting this niche quite perfectly. And I just wanted to add that if you want to use your existing directory of employees, like when you're using visitor registration form and you start typing your host 3 letters of their name to have this autocomplete, know about the employees' names, you have to have a cloud solution. So you cannot use AD on site on-prem yet, right? So it has to be AD in Office 365 Azure or G Suite, where you host your directory of employees.
Yes, indeed. So at the moment, we don't have an integration with local AD. We are looking at that, but at the moment we don't have it. So that's correct. I will also show you the email. So I've entered the customer details, and I've chosen that I'm visiting Jonas Dekkers. So I received an email that John Dewey checked in. So we can also SMS, so that's also possible. All these emails and SMSs, you can all customize them. So you can, and with variables. So we made it as easy as possible. So like you can see, you can add for every language. You can add another other text and use variables. So you can make it personal, and it's very easy to work with. Like you can see here, welcome John, please have a seat. Your host will be right with you. If you want to use another text, you can just do it. So.
And on top of the welcome message, you also have your Wi-Fi password, personal PSK displayed with an SSID name, and as before, a QR code to scan with the smartphone.
And at the moment, we can also automatically SMS, email, or print out. In the next release, we will you will be able to choose if it must be automatically or if the visitor can choose it by itself by pressing a button. So we will add a print button, an SMS, and an email button, so that the visitor can choose if you want it by SMS, email, or print out. So.
How many of you guys are at Wiflex?
How many what?
How many of you guys are at Wiflex in the company? How large is the company?
We are a very small company, so we are only with 2 people. So
this is extremely impressive, considering there's just 2 of you.
Yes, we are a small startup. Our main company is Complete Networks, and Wiflex is just a product of us. We have a main focus on Wi-Fi. So my colleague Hans is also a CWNE. So we know how important Wi-Fi knowledge and the onboarding and safe guest access is. So that's why we created this solution. There are a lot of captive portal solutions, but you don't have any security with that. So
how long until you're CWNE?
I'm only CWNA, and I'm pretty busy with Wiflex, so I don't know if I have any time to go for the CWNE, but I would love to do it, but at the moment I don't have any time for it.
Okay, so we have nailed the visitors registration and the one-click solutions. What do we have next?
Okay, so like I already said, we really like the unique PSK features. The only difficult thing about it is you need to manage another database. So for example, if you want to use it for your employees or just for the bring your own devices of your employees, you need to create a unique PSK for every user. You need to assign the right VLAN to that unique PSK. If the person leaves the company, then you need to delete the unique PSK manually. So we were thinking we must find a way to automate that. And we were thinking, what are the biggest databases in the world that the most people are using? And then we were thinking, okay, that's Azure, Office 365, and Google G Suite. So we thought, okay, we must integrate with them, and that's what we did. So maybe I will explain how our solution is working. So for this solution, it's for the onboarding your employees, and we use an onboard SSID. So this is the only solution where we use a captive portal, but that's only once per user. So when a user wants to log in, he needs to log in on open SSID once. He needs to log in with his Office 365 G Suite credentials, and then we are going to see in which security group that person is. Then we automatically create a unique PSK in the right VLAN. And with that unique PSK, he can connect to the secure SSID. And the next time he will arrive at the office, he automatically connects with the secure SSID.
Okay.
So that's the concept.
So it feels like this solution can be used for enterprise, even at corporate machines. So not only like a BYOD to access internet, this can be, if we want to, a solution for everyone bringing on their own devices. If it's a device issued by the company, you can use your credentials to generate a PSK for you. So you have two SSIDs, right? One is open. You go there, you have a portal. It's not like a redirection, is it? Is it a redirection? Is it a splash page?
It is a splash page.
Okay, what if we use the Mac randomization on Wi-Fi? Do we have any issues there to be redirected to the splash page?
No. There was no problem with it. It's just for everyone the same the same URL.
Of course. So it's not relying on MAC address of the device. It doesn't care about MAC address. First thing that happens is the redirection that just happens. Amazing.
Yes, indeed. And we see more and more companies that are moving to the cloud and don't have any internal server anymore. For example, we had a proof of concept for a big marketing company. They are active in 15 countries, and they only had their radio server because of the Wi-Fi authentication. They didn't use it for anything else because they have Macs. They all bring their own devices, so they don't need any server. And they were looking to a solution to replace their radio server, and so they are at the moment we are doing a proof of concept with them with this solution, so they can just log in with their G Suite, create a unique PSK, and they are easily and secure online. So what we do with this solution? So for example, for the Azure Office 365 integration, we get all the user groups out of Azure Office 365 automatically, and then you can say, for example, for a school, you can say, okay, the students may not enter the internet. It's just an example. So you can select students, and then you can say block. And then if a student tries to log in with his Office 365 credentials, he will get a message that he doesn't get a unique PSK to get on the Wi-Fi. That's just an example. And for example, for the teachers, we can define, okay, if someone logs in and he's in a security group teachers, we create a unique PSK in a VLAN 20. If someone else from the administration logs in, you automatically get a unique PSK in VLAN 30. So we can segmentate based on user groups. And if someone leaves the school or the organization, we check every 20 minutes or so. We check, and if the user isn't anymore in Azure Office 365, we automatically delete the unique PSK. So if all the unique PSKs are kept in sync, and you don't need to have any certificates or any different things. So all the clients are compatible with unique PSKs. I think that's very important.
Okay, just one question here. It is still a very simple process, so it doesn't require, a PhD in computing and whatever to onboard your own device. Everyone can do it. My mom could do it, I guess. But is it possible to make it even more automated? So let's say you connect the open SSID, you log in using your company credentials, and then you have your wireless LAN profile being pushed down to your device using some MDM platform maybe, or whatever. Is that in the books, or do you see it as a complete solution where you have to go through two SSIDs thing, where you have to connect to open first, provide your credentials, get your SSID name and password with unique PSK, and then manually go to the list of SSIDs, hit connect, copy and paste password, or scan QR code?
At the moment, that's indeed the way to go. Maybe we can have a look in the future to integrate with an MDM or something. But another alternative we are looking at is by just sending out an email to all the users with his Wi-Fi credentials. So, for example, if someone is starting at the company, he will automatically receive an email with his Wi-Fi details. So he don't need to connect with an OpenSSID and enter his credentials. So that's also something we have on the roadmap. It's not implemented at the moment, but it will be in the future. So.
That solves a problem, right? So you don't have to go through two SSIDs. Well, it's not a problem, but it simplifies it for new users. You have your company, desk with your computer. You have access to your email, and all you have to do is to scan a QR code with your phone or a laptop, or copy and paste password while connecting to the corporate SSID. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Yes, indeed. And also the copy password, we made it as easy as possible with our portal. So we created a button. I will show you. So I will go. So this is how the portal looks. So you can add your own image, your own logo, and
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah, very nice landing page again.
and then you can if Azure Office 365 is activated, you have this button. You need to accept the privacy policy, and then you can just log in. I will log in with my teacher demo user. So I need to check log in with my Office 365 credentials, and then I will automatically receive a unique PSK. We also automatically generate a QR code, and if you want to copy and paste the password, you can just press the copy password button, and it's automatically copied. So that's also great. And if you want to onboard your mobile phone, you can just scan in the QR code, and all your devices are onboarded securely.
Okay, so this means, sorry, that you can onboard multiple devices with one personal PSK. So if you are one person and you have 2 mobile phones, 1 tablet, and 1 corporate computer, you can onboard all of them.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
That's no problem.
Okay. So how do we address a situation where you have an employee, one person that has a corporate issued device that should have access to all internal resources, and they also require access from the personal device that not necessarily has to have access to all corporate stuff? It's just internet that all they require.
That's a good question. At the moment, we only have one profile. So at the moment, we don't have how do we say it, different access for one person. So we see a lot of companies that still have a radio server that they use for the internal devices, the radio server, and for the bring your own devices, our solution.
Yeah, but I guess, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you would be able to use that BYOD Wiflex solution to onboard your corporate devices. So they are being assigned to a VLAN with corporate access, which is great, easy, and amazing. They have an email with the passcode and QR code. It's great. But then you would be able, I think, to use like one-click solution, or probably one-click solution would be easiest to provide access to all the other devices that are non-corporate.
That's indeed possible. So you can do that indeed. So you can use this solution for the corporate devices and just the one-click for the...
And even a visitor's onboarding, you would be able to use that if you wanted to correlate the devices with access to the internet with an employee name. I guess that would also be possible.
Yes. So if someone logs in with these details, you will see in mist the first and last name or the email address. So you can monitor on device level, on user level on your Wi-Fi. That's possible.
Yeah. So I guess I answered my own question. So it is possible, really easily, to have one person having 2 devices with different levels of access.
Yes, indeed. If you look at it like that, indeed, that's possible. Good one. You must be my marketing and my salesperson. You're doing it very well.
We already are. Yeah, if you want to, if you have some new features in the future, we're always happy to have you back.
Okay, that's great. So I think we discussed the most important features. We are also, but that's still in development. We are also developing a solution for flex rooms, we call it, and then we also have an integration with switches. For example, you have a building with different companies, but it's one network, and some other company can rent rooms or offices at your building. Then we can automatically create a unique PSK in a private VLAN for that company. And we can also automatically change the switch ports that are assigned to the rooms he is renting to his private VLAN. So he has secure network access on the Wi-Fi and on the LAN. So I don't know, is that clear or?
It is clear. So basically you have a solution which you would be able to use for most likely like multi-tenant building, that's tablets, meeting rooms or meeting spaces or conference rooms where you have a switch and probably an access point or access points, which would be used to give your guests, your tenants, a temporary access to specific switch ports and SSIDs with personal PSKs. Let's say I rent a meeting room for 4 days to deliver some teaching. I will be able to get to the room, click few buttons on a tablet or speak to an administrator of Wiflex system, and they will be able to easily assign me like 2 ports on a switch with PoE, which I will be able to connect my training access points into, and also I will get an SSID name with a personal PSK that is valid for a duration of a training that I would be able to distribute throughout my students. Is that a valid use case?
That would be possible indeed. At the moment, I was always thinking about a building where someone rent for a year or more, but that's definitely a use case that we can have a look at.
So it's pretty much the same. It just doesn't have to be for 4 days. It can be for 2 years.
Indeed, yes, that's possible.
Okay, so that's quite cool. What if I was a tenant that require access to some switch ports for 2 years? But also I have some people within my organization, and my organization, they don't have Wi-Fi infrastructure as part of the tenancy agreement. So I would rely on my landlord's Wi-Fi. Can I still leverage multiple PSK for just my own employees without mixing them with employees of other companies as part of the same VLAN?
Yes, that would be possible. At the moment, it's just in development. At the moment, we only create one unique PSK for a company, but in the future, we will add the possibility to also create multiple unique PSKs.
Tenant-based
company.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so that sounds like a really useful feature as well. I might implement it at home, you know. So when I have my mom-in-law coming over, then I will be able to give her a different VLAN and cap it to 100 kilo.
That's great.
Would you be interested in letting our listeners know some rough costs for your different solutions so they can kind of gauge against how much it costs compared to some, if they wanted to implement a similar sort of solution, so they can get an idea of pricing?
Yeah, and be as specific as you want, really. It's like, you know, just a rough estimation would be good enough.
I will just share our website. You can just find our prices on our website. So for the bring your own device solution, it's based on the number of employees. I must say the prices will increase within a few weeks, but at the moment these are the prices. It won't double. For example, at the moment it's €30 for 100 employees, so €30 a month. So I think it's very reasonable price. So we need to increase it a bit. But
so just to I'm just looking at your screen and I see that it's like a BYOD solution, right? That what we are looking at now.
Yes, at the moment.
Okay, so up to 10 employees is free. So if you are a startup or small company, you can use Wiflex for free, which is, thank you very much, guys, for that. It's very nice of you. Up to 100 employees, so not a small company really anymore, not that small. It's €30 a month. It's amazing. But like company like us, Matt, like Natilic, we would be able to use Wiflex for €45 a month. Because it's up to 250 employees, which is
just about. I'm not sure how many employees Natilic have now. It might be, I think we might be just over 250, or we're certainly around that mark. So if we're over 250, how much is that going to hurt the pocket each month? Or is that a custom price that we need to ask for?
It's not we have default prices, but I didn't have enough space to at all the employee prices, but we have a fixed price. So if you want, if you become a partner of us, you get a price list, and you have an overview. I think till 10,000 or till 20,000 employees or something.
Wow.
So,
that's nice. So I guess we are just capped by the capabilities of the number of personal pre-shared keys supported by the vendor at this point.
Yes, indeed. So, for example, for Mist, it's limited till 5,000, I think. With Cisco Meraki, it's only 50. So that's.
But that
very
5,000, to be absolutely honest, is just a limitation per site or per organization.
Yes, I think it's per site, but I'm not 100%.
I don't think I've seen too many sites with more than 5,000 employees in it.
No, I don't think you will get to the limits of the 5,000 of Mist. I think Rukes have a limit of 500 per zone. Airwife Extreme doesn't have any limit, I think. And Zixel, I think, was 2,000, I think.
Yeah, still plenty. Okay, so we know about the pricing. We know about the limits, headcount limits per vendor. What happens if we want to buy your product? Who do we go to? Do you sell directly? Do you have a distributor? Do you have a partner or partners based in the country? How do we buy your products?
So at the moment we have one distributor, but that's only in the Benelux. So if you want to become a partner in the Benelux, you can buy it directly with our distributor Capadata. And at the moment we are speaking with a few other distributors outside of the Benelux. But at the moment you can buy it directly at us. So if you are from a country where we don't have a distributor, you can just buy it directly from us. We have a partner and a distribution program. So everyone has his own margin. So.
Amazing. So I think this has answered all the questions on my list. Do you have anything else to ask, Matt?
Yeah, I think Jonas was going to show us some pricing for the other solutions until you rudely interrupted.
I'm extremely sorry for my rude interruption.
No problem. So the one click with the tablet solution with the button, it's €45 monthly. So it's per physical venue. So but it doesn't matter how many guests are clicking on the application.
Just still there, Jonas. Can you just flick over to the dollar?
Yes, no problem.
Just because we do have some American listeners, and I'm sure they'd be interested to know the dollar price.
So it's $50.
Nice.
And then we have the visitor registration solution. So that's where that's also a tablet solution where they need to fill in their contact details and say who they are visiting, and that's based on the number of visitors a month. At the moment, it's €55 till 500 visitors, but these prices will also increase a bit in the coming weeks. But then you have an ID, and dollar, it's $60 a month for 500 visitors.
Very nice, thank you. Was there anything else that you wanted to demo or show or talk through with everyone, or have we covered pretty much everything?
Maybe for the Mist users, we have a free Mist UPSK manager. That's maybe also something interesting. I will go through it very fast. But that's a free module. So Mist have the possibility to create unique PSKs in the user interface, but they doesn't have the possibility to assign a VLAN to it. So we have created a free module where you can create a unique PSK and link a VLAN to it. So that's also nice, I think. And also we have created a solution where you can create the unique PSKs in bulk for Mist. So in the user interface, you need to create them one by one. But if you need 500 unique PSKs, you want to do it in bulk. So you can just create a CSV file, upload it, and we will create all the unique PSKs.
Okay, so Jonas, this Mist functionality, this is like on top of the solutions that we have discussed. right? So this is something extra just for Mist. And
Yes,
all you do,
it's
you just
free.
create unique PSKs. So you will have the same SSID name, and you can create like 1,000 unique PSKs, and you can distribute it through, I don't know, a conference attendees without having a queue to your tablet. You can send them an email prior to conference attendance, let's say.
Yes, indeed. Or you want to onboard your IoT devices with a unique PSK, and you have a lot IoT devices. You can just load a CSV file, and we create
And
all the
that's
unique
another
PSKs.
amazingly great use case here for the IoT, right? So when something happens to your IoT device that might have access to your Wi-Fi network and is like a cheap unsecured device, when it's getting cracked, it's just that device that is being compromised, right?
Yes, indeed. It's very easily correct. And in the demo, I just onboarded John Dewey, and here you have an example of the username we create in Mist. So first of all, we generate something random, and then the John Dewey so you can monitor on Mist level if a visitor checks in and what he's doing on the network.
Oh, and last thing that we haven't mentioned, I think, is have you seen the kiosks that you can offer as Wiflex with the tablet and the application running on it?
I can show you. One moment.
So let's say if I wanted to have one click at the reception or visitors onboarding and a tablet and the application on that, we can get that all sourced through you guys, right? Through Wiflex.
You showed
Yes.
that earlier, right? Or no?
I'm
You
sorry?
can actually buy the tablet stand.
Yes.
Yes, you can buy the tablet stand, and we can also make it custom. So this is one for Wiflex, but we can create with custom colors, custom logo, all that kind of stuff. We also created a place where you can place your badge printer. So it's all nicely.
Probably where you'll be putting the hand sanitizer now.
I'm sorry.
That's probably where you'll be putting the hand sanitizer.
Indeed. And we are also looking to add an employee registration possibility. So if an employee enters the building, that he can just scan his RFID badge and his time, and we register when he checks in and checks out. So that's also something on the roadmap.
Okay.
Very nice.
Voila.
Voila. No more questions? Nothing on our list? We nailed it.
Me not.
Okay, so thank you very much, Jonas, for your time again. It was really amazing demo, great stuff. So to our listeners, if you want to see it, head over to our website or YouTube. There will be a video version of this podcast as well. Also, let us know how you find Matt's new microphone quality, because I was always complaining about his Yeti and the noise, and now there is no noise at all. Also, Jonas, before the podcast, said that Matt sounds better than me, which is the NT2000 from Rode versus a Broadcaster. Similar priced microphones, just different. Yeah, if you think Matt sounds better, I will get NT2000 as well.
Maybe one thing I want to add, guys. If you go to our website, wiflex.eu, you can book a demo with us. It's on the top right, or you can ask for a free trial. So maybe that's also interesting information.
Okay. Do you have any Twitter or LinkedIn accounts where people would be able to follow you?
Yes, we have a LinkedIn account, and we also have a Twitter account. I'm not that active on Twitter, but I think it's Wiflex. I'm not 100% sure what the username is.
Sorry.
Okay. I guess if you guys take a look at, I don't know, my profile or Matt's profile, we are resharing Wiflex posts, so you should be able to find them quite easily.
Yep, we will find, and we will tag you in the podcast so people can reach out to you in multiple ways. But yep, thank you very much for your time, Jonas. Thank you, Mac.
Yes, you too, guys.
Thank you very much. Have a blasting rest of your day.
Yes, have a nice day. Bye, guys.